think, where's my, what's it at? Just gonna have to assume that we're on, I think. Well, it looks like we're good. Okay, I really don't want to see that right now. All right, yeah, we are live. We're in good shape. Cool. Rockin', welcome everybody. What is going down in Groovetown? I'm going to be doing some sheet music transcriptions tonight. Working on Opus 232 by Isaac Albanese. And most well known on this is Leyenda. Very popular piece. I've performed that many times. I've actually retranscribed that from the original. There are a few very popular transcriptions of it around that are all in E minor, which is where I just played it. And the original piece is on piano in G minor. So probably 6-7 years ago, I set out to see if I could come up with my own transcription of it in G minor, and it works really well. I do have to do a double drop D on the guitar, which is tuning both the first and sixth strings down one whole step, and then it fits very well. So in standard tuned guitar, then definitely E minor works much better. So I then kind of set out to see what else I could do with the remainder of the suite. There are 5 parts in the suite, originally published as a 3-part suite, and Leyenda is the prelude, and then there's Oriental and Sos la Palmier, or Bajo la Palmera. It's both French and Spanish titles. I don't know what Albanese did originally. He was a Spanish gentleman, but he spent a lot of time in France, and a lot of Albanese's work was really kind of inspired by his travels. And so I did a transcription of Leyenda into G minor, and then I put Oriental into its original key, and that works pretty well. Not easy to play. I was fiddling around with that earlier today, and that led me to try this one. And this one, easy enough to transcribe, but the only way to do it would be to tune the entire guitar down 1/2 step. To put it in E flat minor. To try to put it onto a guitar in standard tuning and put in E flat minor, as near as I can tell, would be pretty much untenable. I've performed Leyenda, Cordoba, and Sos la Palmier multiple times, and I've worked off of the Stanley Yates transcription, and Stanley's transcriptions are excellent. But he changed, as is very popular with all of these pieces, he did the key changes that are standard to them. Cordoba, the 4th song in the suite, a very challenging piece of music. That one, as long as you go to sing a normal drop D, which is just the 6th string, that one works really well. I did do my own transcription of that, and as excellent as Yates's transcription is, I just kind of wanted to do my own and see what I came up with. So some things just transcribe perfectly onto the guitar, so they're exactly the same. Anyone who would change that part of the transcription is kind of silly. So, but definitely in parts of it, I went with some different directions than Yates did, and so yeah, I mean, anytime you're going from one instrument to another, one format to another, there are going to be some changes taking place in how you get there, and so definitely you have to kind of make your own decisions. So I'm working on Sos la Palmier. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I believe I am. But I've got the sheet music up here, and I've not actually put the title in. Let me actually pull up. Okay, where is this at? Let's get the title put in here. Boom. Just hide that one. And so what I've got here is the piano transcription as it was originally published. I don't know if this is, I don't know how close this is to his handwritten original or whatever. I don't have access to that. So I'm just putting this into a format that works on the guitar. And a lot of times you really kind of have to massage things and see where you can put them. A lot of the stuff I'm finding I have to change, you know, by an octave or whatever, or sometimes 2 octaves to fit onto the guitar to be able to chord it out correctly. But I'm just going to go to a spot that I haven't worked yet. Actually, that is a repeat, I believe, of that. No, that's a little bit different. Let's hit this spot here. See what's going on here. So, you know, on the piano, you got the 2 hands. Left hand, right hand, you got going on. And of course, I would not be able to remotely approach the possibility of playing a piece like this. So we gotta find a way to crunch those into a single guitar neck. And that's where we find ourselves. It's like this. You can see here, these red notes are saying this is out of the range of a guitar. And that's definitely true in this case. So these I'm probably gonna end up dropping 2 octaves. And some of this stuff ends up looking kind of funky for a while. You have to figure out how you're gonna go about things. And then I've got to do this thing where I change the voice. Using multiple voices in sheet music is very common. And then I pop that into the tablature, see what it looks like. And it's like, oh, see, now that actually starts to line up pretty well the way that I hit it there. It's like this is just an E minor chord. And technically it's an E flat minor chord, but again, this would be set up to transcribe to tune your guitar down 1/2 step or 1 fret worth of tone. And you know, a lot of what I do here is, you know, I kind of start to get it in place, and I play the piano part and say, okay, what does that feel like? And so, okay, do we hit the right spirit of this on the guitar part? Yeah, that actually works pretty well. And my guitar is not tuned down 1/2 step. So if I were to record this, I would tune it down properly. But like here, we start running into getting some notes not quite cooperating with one another. And so this is where we sometimes have to make some concessions, say, okay, well, you know, let's work out what the chord is, and then decide where we're going to go from there, and which of these notes are we going to sacrifice, so to speak. So this would be very challenging to play right here. It's playable. That's a tough one to play. And so then this note, this E natural here, so this, if I were to remove this note, we get the 4-3-4-2, that suddenly, and that I think is, so what we're looking at here is an F sharp. Nope, I'm looking at this wrong. Oh, yeah, there would be a couple different ways to interpret this. And that's, you know, chords, usually different ways to interpret it. But if we're looking at it, it would be kind of a C, and then we got this. So what's the note that I'm dumping here? I'm curious. That's the... Why am I not seeing that in here? Got the C here. Sometimes I gotta put it in somewhere else to see what's going on. Oh, is that gonna be this? No, that's not a G. I don't know what I'm looking at. It's part of the problem with transcribing, but I think that's gonna be the way to do it. And then here, and a lot of times you gotta look at this and say, you know, would this work better in another spot? This one I think probably would not work better, but if we were to go here, oh, and that might work. And timing in this piece is really weird too. He uses a lot of polyrhythms, particularly later on. We have some places where one of the voices is in threes and another. It's great. So this here should be an E natural. No. There we go. Let's get rid of that one. Wait, what if I... So those are two D flats. We could kill that D flat there. And then this should be 7 and 7. And then that's much more workable. That's not bad. This one here, I may have to fiddle with some of the stuff. And what I'll get the transcription in here. And then as I start playing through it, practicing it on the guitar, I will have to go through and make some concessions and changes. And so like these might end up being down here. Not sure exactly where that'll go yet. It is a great piece though. I've performed this one only twice, I think. And it's been so long since I played even that transcription of it that I would be unable to do it again currently. So just so much going on in it. Sometimes you really gotta bonk things around to get them to work. Interesting. So this doesn't look too bad here. And I'll end up going in here and revoicing some of this stuff because the left hand, right hand thing is not gonna work out as the individual voice is necessarily on a guitar. Piano. Where are we at here? I'm going to switch my view. That doesn't work quite as well, but if I move that, what if I shift that voicing down? Oops. But there again, like I may end up taking like this one back up to there, and then that becomes much easier just with that one note. That's still a little funky at the end there, but that's I think I'm good with that. And as per usual, I am saving very, very often here because it's insane not to. So that, yeah, I'll probably have to bring this one down 2 octaves. And let's see where this ends up putting us. And then it's notable too, you got to watch for things like this because this chord is actually held over from this. So on the guitar, I may just end up dumping that part out. Because holding it's not going to work the same way. And then we start to get to something, again, much more workable. Yeah, that's a starting point for it. Continue on here. I feel like this whole thing's gonna have to drop 2 octaves, so sometimes we do a little extra all at once. Oh, and see, I gotta watch for this. Like this has 2 voices in it, so I'll have to handle that a little bit differently. So let's get these 2 here. Pop those in place. That's probably gonna come down an octave except for this note, which is a repeat. Okay. And though this note is shown as being out of key, that's because I haven't told the standard notation that we're going to be tuned down a half step. The tablature has got it right. Nope. That might be a little better there. Oop, no, what do I do now? Hit something wrong. Yeah, a lot of Albanese's work transcribes very well onto the guitar. He never wrote for a guitar, but he was very heavily inspired by guitar work. So a lot of his piano music, having that kind of inspiration to it, works very, very well. And but anytime the piano has so much wider a range of notes that it can hit, that when you transcribe to a guitar, you're just going to have to make some concessions. So a lot of times, like something like this, we look at, okay, what's kind of the spirit of this chord here? And always multiple ways of looking. So that's okay. So what do we got here? This is E. That's going to be that note. So that note is actually a repeat note. And so the question is, do I cut out the low one or do I cut out the high one? Is the bass note more important or is the treble note more important? I don't think it really matters too much in this one. The question is, if I cut out the low one, can I even get the high one to work? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong, that's the B note. I'm gonna start this one over. Okay, yeah, so I was looking at the wrong note there. That is not the high, so this is the high note. So that's this. So that would be thinking. That makes more sense than the way I had it last time. So, okay, let me bring this back. What did I pull out of here then? All right, that's... Okay, I left the B note in. I pulled out a D note. D, okay. And if you're seeing the D flat up here, it's because I'm looking at the position on the guitar rather than on the sheet music. Because that's how my brain translates musical information. I am so guitar oriented after 40 plus years now of playing the guitar that I very much think in that fashion. I feel like that D note should be there. I feel like that's kind of an important note. So I'm going to kill the B note there. Let's do that for now. And then that I think works. So this is kind of a... And I don't know the fingering for it very well yet. Whoa, bring that back. There we are. All right. So this, what are we going to do with this chord? Oh, wait, I don't have, we got to can that. I got to get the rest of the notes in here. That's right, because this has these extra notes. So let's turn those all into, there we go. Get that information in there. That adds some more stuff. Okay, so that puts an F sharp on the low end there. I'm gonna have to pull this G note out because that is the octave of that. Wait, no. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. And that makes that work pretty well. What about this? So we've got an E. I think if I just pull out the octave of the E. And like I said, I'll have to go through and clean this stuff up later on because the voicings here really don't make a lot of sense now that they're put into this much more closed format where we had these very open kind of notes, chords before because of the spread on the keyboard. That works just fine. Okay. Cool. Where are we at? Is that where I was at? That's not where I was at. Past that. There we are. So this is definitely not the most exciting stuff, but when you get into music, this stuff ends up being just freaking awesome. I get so totally into this stuff. Sitting doing transcriptions and seeing where it takes you. It's like, oh, maybe should I take those down an octave? Bring this one back up an octave. Would that work better? It might. It does keep the spirit of it. I almost feel like these might be better off back up an octave, just those last two. No, maybe I'll be better off just doing it the first way. So then how are we going to work these chords? And this particular voicing of an A minor chord is not too bad. Getting to this 4 is a little tough from that finger position. But I may end up dropping off that low C note in this case. So that might go. I'm going to leave that for now. And when I start playing through it and giving it some practice, then changes will very likely be made. And a lot of people are really against the use of tablature. I think that is a pretty silly position to hold, just because it's thought of as this really new thing, but it actually has a massively long tradition. And we have examples of stringed instrument tablature going back to the 1500s, and the earliest tablatures are actually that we know of are for organ. And they go way, way back. So it's a tablature is simply a graphic representation of what's happening on an instrument. And on this, I know there are people out there who read sheet music so well that they visualize this as it sits on the guitar. My brain doesn't have that. I see the tablature very well. I do not see the sheet music translating the same way. And one of the things they say is, well, if you're looking at these two notes on sheet music, there's no way to know if it's what the interval is. I'm like, I can figure out that that's a major third. And I understand on the sheet music it might actually be written as diminished fourth, which it is. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It's a diminished fourth. It's a major third. Whatever. I still know there's two notes to hit. And so the tablature works just fine. And the listener does not, in fact, cannot know that sheet music is doing that. There is no way for them to have that information. Or diminished. Oh, I'm totally looking at the wrong thing. That's not even that's a diminished fifth or augmented fourth. Again, the listener cannot know that. So I made a fool of myself by saying that was a major third when it is in fact an augmented fourth or a diminished fifth. So yeah, we're getting a little funky on some of these chords. And I feel like on this one, yeah, dumping that low C note and just going with the diminished what is kind of being gone after here is this diminished 7 feel. So we have, wait, no, I got something, I'm missing something here. No, okay, yeah, because that's just a repeat of the C. I wanna fiddle with this measure a little bit more here. We got some cool stuff going on. I feel like taking this out would make this fit very well on the guitar, because I can just do a bar on fret 2. The timing is way off on that, but that's not what I'm after right now. And that's something, my friend Stephanie is a piano teacher, and she has this great statement that just, it makes so much sense. She says, no song is too hard to play if you play it slowly enough. And that is so true. It's something that music teachers, I read some books written by guitar teachers, this was a few years back, and these books were from the late 1800s, early 1900s, so more than 100 years ago. And they were saying exactly the same thing that we hear music teachers saying now. Slow down, practice your scales, work on your technique. That has never changed in music education. And it's unlikely ever to, because when we are learning, we want to be able to play well. And part of, particularly on guitar, like a lot of my students are more rock guitar oriented, but even in classical guitar, it's fun to play fast. And people who have seen me do shows know I tend to play pretty fast. I do a lot of fast playing, and it's great, but when I'm doing stuff like when I'm learning a piece, I'm playing dead slow. I actually did a lesson just earlier today with one of my students who's a more advanced student. He's been with me for about 8 years, and we were setting him up with a system that I've used before. I was hired, this was probably 7-8 years ago, to play the song Cliffs of Dover by Eric Johnson for a wedding reception. And the couple, the gal got in touch with me through a mutual friend. They had talked to, I think, like 5 or 6 other musicians and bands. Whew, careful now. And all the other musicians, as soon as they mentioned Cliffs of Dover, they're just like, no, sorry, we can't do that. It's known as a very challenging guitar piece, and it's a great piece. It's by Eric Johnson. If you haven't heard Cliffs of Dover by Eric Johnson, go check it out. It's brilliant. So she got in touch with me, and I said, yeah, I can do that, but it's going to take some time. When is this wedding reception coming up? And she said, oh, it's 18 months away. Okay, good. You guys know what you're doing. And so I knew kind of my way around that song at that point, but what I did to solidify it, I spent a few months getting to know the piece, so it was kind of, in not necessarily fully memorized, but it was in there. And then I set up in my recording program so that it would play 58 times in a row. And the first time it played at 50% speed. And then the second time it would play 51%. Third time, 52%, 50, all the way up to 107%. So from 50% up to 107%. And it would take about 6.5 hours to play through this. But doing that, forcing yourself to slow down like that, And even though there are parts of that song that are just blazingly fast, there are parts of it where when you're playing at 50% speed, it just feels like you're going so slow. But what happens in a case like this is you start to play those notes. That when you're at speed, you just hit the note and move forward. But when you're sitting there waiting for this note to just kind of endlessly roll out, you start doing vibratos and stuff on it. It's a little bit different. And that ends up informing how your performance will end up when you actually get there. And so that's exactly how I approach it. So Finn, one of my students, he is learning Cliffs of Dover right now. And so I showed him the whole setup for, let's get this into your system. You know, you got the drums in there, the bass, the guitar, and we're just using all MIDIs for this. Just, you know, basically the same kind of stuff we're playing through the sheet music. And set it up so it just ramps up one at a time. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he does with that and where that ends up going. It's actually, I've taken that piece and I've started to transcribe it onto piano, and I'm very bad at it. Sometimes I can play it a little better. I am very new at playing piano. So I've only been playing piano for a few months, and I've been having a blast with it. It's absolutely, Sarah bought me this really nice keyboard, and sometimes I can play it even slightly better than that, but not much. Okay, back to the sheet music stuff. Anyway, so then the point is, this is where some of this stuff is going to sound really bad on my guitar right now, but I've got to let myself go through here and learn this really slowly and see where it takes me. And then as I go through it a few times, and I will probably compare this to the way I used to play it with the Stanley Yates transcription. And like I said, his transcriptions are excellent. He just does them a little bit differently than me. And I did the same thing when I did the transcription of Cordoba. I compared that to what Stanley did, and in some places, absolutely the same thing, because it just meshes that way. That's where the sheet music sits on a guitar. And other places, I'm like, okay, I really, I see what he did here. This makes a lot of sense, but I feel like the way I'm doing it is maybe a little more true to the original, might be a little harder to play. Mine is definitely, I think, more challenging than the Yates transcription, which is saying something, because Cordoba is hard to play. I spent a long time learning that one many years ago, and it's a very cool piece. It's awesome. So this one here, like I get to this, and I'm like, okay, with this chord, I kind of feel like, should we have both of those notes? We got the G, we got the G flat, or it might be a G and an F sharp, depending on how you look at it. And of course, it would be a G flat and an F in the original, so probably a G and an F sharp as I'm sitting on it here. And then getting to those octaves, so if I take out this note, then that simplifies the first part. That significantly simplifies that part of the measure. So yeah, I'm just not sure on that one yet. I'm gonna leave it as is for now. And we're just kind of getting the initial work in there, as I said, and decisions will be made later on. And then like here, like this B is 2 octaves below this B. And if I move this up even an octave, would that still, see, that would be, there's no good way to do that. So again, that's where sometimes you just kind of have to make these concessions and say, okay, this is going to be in the same. But we here, what we might end up doing is actually pulling this B note out, because kind of the feel here is of moving upward. So we go from this low B up to this chord. And so we can simulate that by simply playing without that B note. And so that gives us that upward feeling. I think that's a pretty good solution on that one. And there again, this isn't even about the difficulty of playing it, but it's like, are we able to emulate the correct feel to be true to Albéniz's vision of this particular piece of music? And, you know, Albéniz, 1800s, I think he probably died in the early 1900s. I could be wrong about that. So really, I don't think he ever would have heard any of the guitar transcriptions that are now just wildly popular, particularly of something like Leyenda. But I'm inclined to think he would have approved of a lot of the transcriptions that have been done. I think he would fully approve of like the Segovia transcriptions of Leyenda, the Yates transcription of Leyenda, and Yates, you know, did some stuff very different than the way that the most popular Segovia transcription was done. And one of the things I really like about Yates's work is he will put explanations in his sheet music, saying, here's why I made this decision. And that's something I think that composers and transcribers should do far more often. Here's how I arrived at this. And that, like when I, the few times that I've put out sheet music for my work, I put a descriptor, a few pages of description in the very beginning saying, look, you're not going to see my guitar solos written out here because the intent of this music is for the lead guitarist to create an improvisational guitar solo. So that's what I would hope that someone would do in the event that they actually play this music. You know, don't try to play note for note what I play, because I don't do that. When I go on stream and do concert style playing, I am improvising those guitar solos. I'm not trying to play exactly what's on the album. And so oftentimes I'll have like a motif and say, okay, I'll play this part, and then the rest of it's just improv time. So it's, you know, the spirit of the song will be maintained if someone else does a completely different solo than me. And I would hope that they would. And so there again, we're kind of looking for, you know, are we able to meet the spirit of what Albéniz did? And I think that this matches up pretty well. Now this one actually makes it tough because this, well, that's in the bass. Maybe we should drop that down. Da-da-da-da. Tough to know where to go sometimes. That actually works pretty well. Yeah. But I still feel like there's some, So this first part's good. I mean, and also, okay. And, you know, another thing I like to describe when you're learning a song, and this really ties in with the whole, you know, the willingness to play very, very slowly. When you're first learning a piece, and I think this is probably true on most instruments, you are not trying to play it. You're figuring out which fingers am I going to use? What's my finger selection criteria doing here? Where is this leading me? How should I play this chord in context with what else is going on? In a lot of cases, there might be a very common way you would generally play a chord, but in this context, because of where I just came from or where I'm about to go to, or both, I may have to play this very differently. So like here, we look at, we got this is all easy. So here, which finger do I use on this in order to get to this? Because so I'm almost like pivoting around that third finger to get to the A minor 7 chord. And then here, I feel like I'm probably gonna need to make some concession on this, and it might be moving this back up an octave. Let me get that. Yeah, that might be a better way to do it. Pinky hands. It's doable, but it's really hard to hit that chord. When I do it this way, not too bad. I'm gonna leave that like this for now and see where that ends up leading us. Okay, this could be interesting. What do we got here? And again, because this chord is tied over, that's probably not going to work on guitar, so I'm just eliminating that for now. Nine, 8, 7. And so this is where we look at this and we're like, okay, what's going to be efficient in this case as far as how this particular chord should be played. And so should I eliminate this? Because this at the octave it was at a moment ago. Yeah, I think I'm going to eliminate that. And so then it's a question of, do I want to make that jump? Or do I want to drop these, in fact, by an octave? Oops. I need to drop them an octave in order to drop them an octave. And this might make a bit better sense here. Yeah, that octave down definitely helps. And then, so here again, we've got, we've got an octave going on there. Okay, and this is showing a D natural up here because of known as a cautionary accidental. Oh, no, because D would not be flatted here. Okay, so that makes sense. That's just returning that to its natural state. Doesn't need it on this one. Got it. Okay. So now it's kind of a question of which of these should I pull out? Do I pull out the lower octave or the upper octave? And I think I want to pull out this middle note, not because of playability, but in this case because having this as an upper line, I think is going to work a little better than if I were to go from, yeah, I think I'm going to pull that. All right. Cool. And the funny thing is, amongst the funny things, is that I don't even know if we'll wait and see on that. But I do enjoy transcribing sheet music because I happen to be a freaking weirdo. Oh, let's see where this one's gonna. So this is all over the place here. Let's try that. See what adjustments we have to make to this thing. Pop this into place. See what this does. Oh yeah, this is all over the place here. Interesting. Okay. I'm looking at this measure all of a sudden, and I'm feeling like this upper line here is going to be really important to to the sound. Yes. Okay, I think on this one we really need to maintain that upper voice. In fact, I think on voice 1, simply pulling, oh, that may not work on that. I think just pulling off, because this is all octave work. And I feel like this was the same in the Yates transcription. It's been so long since I played that though. Okay. Yeah, and I feel like I want to look at this now. I got the Yates transcription right here. Whole big. I've had this for. I would have got this book when I first started playing classical. I got this guitar back in 2002, I think, and I took lessons from Ron. I never knew Ron's last name. For a while, and he taught me some good stuff. But this is the Yates transcription, and I just want to see, because I feel like this was the place where he left in, I believe, this note, and whether you put it on string 6 or string 5, it's impossible to play these things with that in there. Just literally cannot be done. Where are we at here? Yeah, that's the place. And yeah, it cannot be played like that. Okay, interesting. Yeah, he did have pretty much the same solution that I've got there. Huh, cool. I saw Yates play live in Seattle. Oh gosh. I was with Scott, Chris, and Jennifer. We all went. And then there was another group of people that went there with us, and they ended up doing other stuff. But it was a really, really good performance. The guy's a good player. He did not play any of the things from this, but yeah, I'm convinced that note just has to just go away and be done with. See ya, sucker. Because that is not going to be able to be made to work. And yeah, moving those down the octave. Let me move those back up. I want to see that again. Where did those end up going? So this goes away. I feel like this would be better here. I do like that a little bit better. And it's the same note, but it's the choice of where you play a note on the guitar is a very interesting choice to make. Sometimes Cliffs of Dover that I was just talking about, that Finn's learning, I did the 58 times in a row thing. That one, the main riff is based around this G chord, and this G note on string 4 fret 5 is the same note as the open string 3, but if you play it with the open string 3, it sounds wrong. There's just no way around that. And I've seen a lot of people try to pull it off, and it doesn't do the same thing. Sorry guys, you kind of got to play it that way. Okay, so this one, so here, now like this, do I pull these down an octave? Would that work? No, that does not work. Definitely not. That really, because my concern here is, so again, we're looking for the spirit of this, because this should be moving up. So if I leave this note in, which is this note right here, this is going to be more of a lateral kind of a move. So I think I need to pull that. Ooh, man. That might make more sense to put this here. Something like that. I feel like that's actually a little closer to what we're looking for. Let me switch this around. So what is wrong with the what's it? Where's my mix? There we go. I'm just not able to hear this quite as well as I would like to. And now I'm in a completely different part of the thing. Oh, right at the beginning of it. Where are we at here? I've completely lost my spot. Go back to the page view. We were right around measure 33, 32, somewhere in here. No, we were not. There we are. There, we got it. What measure are we on there? 30. I was close. Okay. Yeah, and this definitely getting into some funky timing as well. So this is an example of the polyrhythms I was talking about, where here you've got all of these in triplets. So it's the rest counts as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and this is in 4. So 1A and 2A and It's really weird to get the timing right on that. And that's one of those, just sit and just play it super slow and count it out. And sometimes even counting it out's really tough. You just kind of gotta, it's great having these computer perfect playback systems. And then you can just, and then a lot of times I'll take this, I'll just slow it way down. Slow way down, be like, okay, what's the timing? What's the feel of this? And play along with it, because that's going to be so freaking hard to count. And I know my brain does not do great at that, but once I get the feel of it, then I'm good. And yeah, still not convinced on this part. If I did that. How does that work? I like that better. I do like that better. Still not sure about this note. Because here, what he did is he used what's known as contrary motion in this polyrhythmic idea. So he's got the upper voice going up, lower voice with the left hand of the piano going down. So we got and I'm not really reasonably able to emulate that here on a guitar. So where does that put this note? That actually might work. That might work. How does that? And you can hear that funky timing in there. And it really shows, the very imaginative nature of what Albanese was after, because he was just very willing to do this kind of weird type of stuff. And it also there's a difference too. When it's on the piano, it is a different feel because of the separation of octaves that we've got going on there. And so that's another thing it's worth keeping in mind when doing a transcription like this is what is the spirit of this when it comes to how it feels. And so we may have to make concessions just for the fact that we are moving octaves around. And these rests in here bug me. That's just because I'm changing the voice category of the note to put them together. I've got a reasonable start on this. It's going to be interesting to go through and kind of work this out on the guitar, make further changes. Oh, okay, this is exactly what I ran into a moment. Is this the exact same thing? This is not. Okay. But the same principle here that we're moving up. Okay, and now we've got so that's a repeat. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, what do we got here? We got C. We got a B flat. We got another C and a G. So if we kill that one, it's kind of like a B flat major chord. However, if we maintain that one and kill that one, it's like a C chord. So should this be a C chord or a B flat chord? And that's just a very fine question right there. I'm looking at this and it's kind of like a 1 5 7 1, meaning this would be the one to keep. No. Yeah. I feel like that's probably or would it be better to somehow keep this and get rid of one of the C notes? If I were to move that up an octave, that would go. Ooh, that might. That part works fine like it is. Those next two measures are easy peasy there. Oh wait, no, I was putting a D in that. That could be. Oh, that might. Moving that to there for the, oh, that's right, I pulled that out because it's an octave. Okay, I got something. Oh, okay. Oh no, that needs to be a G flat. That's right. Okay, so that should be, oops. There we go. That makes more sense. Because of the transcription, the transposition. Oh, what am I doing wrong here? Oh, gotta find my spot again. There we are. Okay. Okay, interesting. I think this low note may end up going away here. No, that might be good to have that low. Like that. We may leave that. Okay. Let's get back into this view. Now here, I already put some of this in, but I definitely wanted to take a look at this because clearly we've got some notes in here that are going to be unworkable. What did Yates do on this? Come here, Stan. Yes, I saw Stanley play at the smaller room in the Benaroya Hall, which still is not exactly a small room, but he was great, and he seemed like a very cool guy. Of course, I mean, he's performing. He's going to hopefully be on his best behavior, but very, very enjoyable show. Okay, where are we at here? Yeah, that makes sense. So really, the question that you end up asking in a case like this is, what is the spirit of this chord? So you've got, we've got these spread out so nicely on the piano that, you know, you've got this nice big range here. Where on the guitar, that's tough. This one, however, if we were to drop this an octave, we could leave that in place. And then we're only concerned with this note. So then we kind of ask, you know, does that might work pretty well. might work out okay. And of course, this looks terrible because of the funky setup of all the different voices here, but that's easy to correct later on. I kind of like that. Except I may need to change this. I don't know, that might just be because I'm used to hearing it that way. I feel like, okay, I'm going to get to that in a moment. So I think that this lowest note here should come out. If I pop that up an octave, where does it go? Got myself zoomed way too far in here. Let's get. All right. Yeah, that does work pretty well. I feel like Yeats ended up using the octave. I don't know why I just don't leave this book open. That's just a crazy idea. Oh, he put both of them in. Look. Interesting. Book open. Madness. So here he's got that back in there. Oh, okay, so yeah, that's not sure why I took that out then. Okay, I had to fiddle with my finger selection on that one, but and then do I want that to go there? Okay, a couple. So do I like? Yeats took out that note, which in the transcription word was that note, and I've been thinking the same thing. And so it's this note and this note that are bothering me. Everything else in here works really well, because it really we get this what is almost a cluster chord. A true cluster chord is just hitting all the keys right next to each other, and that same concept doesn't work on a guitar because of the way that the notes are set up. So I can kind of simulate a cluster chord by going much further than that. My hands are just too small for. I could tap another note or something, but yeah, it's tough to arrange. This isn't necessarily a true cluster chord, but it's in the vein of one, and there's just no good way to align those. I think, yeah, I'm just going to drop that note. But this one I'm less convinced of. Where's that now? This one I'm less convinced that I want to dump that note. like it up there. So yeah, again, so here, this is where we start to look at the spirit of it, and we say, okay, so this should have a climbing feel. And when I put this note higher, now it goes down and then starts climbing. And I don't feel like we should be dropping in on this. If I leave it down here, we end up with this diminished chord. Well, I mean, it's diminished kind of either way, but it just depends on how you look at it. We have more of an implication of like an F sharp dominant 7 here, even though it's still technically the same 3 notes. The voicing of a chord can really make a big difference in the perception of what's happening with that chord. I just realized I do not have my YouTube chat up properly. Don't know if anyone's even watching anywhere, but I find that these streams do not do as well as my recording and concert style streams. So, but I still like being on. And of course, if I've missed chats anywhere, my apologies. That is never my intent. And so I don't think I've had any chats anywhere here. But for anyone out there who is watching, thank you very much for being here. I am the Mad Poet. You are an audience. We are the Mad Poet Society. And for those who might be coming a little bit late, what we're doing here is we're taking a piano piece by Isaac Albéniz called Soz le Palmier, and we are transcribing it for classical guitar. And we're having a blast doing it, figuring out the spirit of Isaac's chords and movements, and deciding how best to do that. Yeah, I gotta say, this one, I feel like that's the right solution. But I also feel like it's leaving me wanting a little bit, because I feel like that particular note was beneficial in here. So I don't like the feel of the chord in this close root position triad, because even though it's the same notes, that voicing feels like a diminished chord, where this feels like an implication of the dominant 7 chord. You know, I think, okay, here's my justification. We're going to hit that note here, and it's going to complete the chord for us-ish. So I'm going to go with that. I almost feel like this might want to come up an octave in this case. Okay, that. Okay, this is decent now. I think I'm okay with that. And I do like keeping this note in here. This, yeah, I think I'm okay with all that. This here, I think, is probably fine as is. And this is kind of I've always liked this particular measure in this piece because the way Albani skipped the 1 just gives this a great little anticipatory feel right through this section. We come down off of this here. Love that. That feels so good the way he put that together. This is all good in here. And what's going on right here? Okay, we got would this be better on these strings? No, it would not. That would be, actually that might be. Oh yeah, actually yeah, if I bar that, then I can just do a bar at fret 4, and then I put down that major chord shape, and that builds right up. Oh, that's... Now, should this... Yeah, that's... So this is like an instance where technically you might say that this is a little easier to play because you're not working with that bar chord. And bar chords... Once you're experienced with chords, are not hard to play, but sometimes the decision of whether or not you're going to play it. So this is not hard to do at all. This is definitely a bit more challenging, but I think it's a better solution. And it probably doesn't sound great when I'm playing it right now because I have not practiced this, but I think that is a better solution. I think I'm going to roll with that. Now here, so this again, like this here, this could be played on the open string, or it could be played on fret 4, string 3. And so which of those is a better option? That's I'm probably gonna change my mind on this a few times as things go forward. I'm really not sure which of those I want there. So now here again we have this cluster style chord. But this one now, where are we going to go with this? Or I feel like that might be the right 2 to keep because we're going to maintain this same kind of trajectory. And this should move up an octave again. So if this is in place, oh, that little dissonance there though, that is really nice. That's a good little bit of dissonance there. Ooh, that's kind of a tough decision. This upper note is really part of that climbing line again that I feel is quite important. And this is very much like the one we did a moment ago, where we decided to put this back in here. I think I will leave that as that is good. I'm kind of interested in getting this one back up to snuff once I've done my this transcription. I think is going to be substantially similar to Yeats's, just because it's about the best way to do it. I definitely have a few things a little different than his, but for the most part, the transcriptions don't have all that many great options. Man, this one, though, I'm having a tough time. I don't want to look at Yeats's until I've made my decision and see which way he went. But so, and then there's a question of, if I do this, do I want that repetition there? Because this, I don't think, works as well an octave below in this, even though it's kind of what he did, what Albani's did. But again, he had all of it down that low. So sometimes I know where the strings are at. Intriguing. So we got the same thing happening in two places here. So I'd like to, I could be like, oh, I'll do it this way once and that way once. I feel like consistency is good, because Albani's was doing a direct repeat of this measure here. So I feel like that does make sense to have the consistency. So if we do these two, we've got this, what do we got here? An E major chord. If we do that, then we get this. So now that dissonance might even be why do I feel like I've got something wrong here? No, that's same. Okay. Yeah, that's working. Okay, got it right. Except wait, that. Oh, okay. No, that's making sense. That's making sense. 2 D notes. That's going to be another F note. Okay, yeah. And this one, that's just whatever, easy. So, because here what we've got is an interval known as a major second. Very dissonant. Not as dissonant as a minor second, but it is a very dissonant interval. And that dissonance, sometimes it's thought of as being something you want to avoid, but it's about movement. Dissonance creates movement in music, but I'm also repeating a note now when I do it this way. So do we go with the implied dissonance off of the note we played just before it and play this major? I'm wanting to put this 3 on string 2. That's why that's not working. that. I think we're going to go with that right there. Let's see what Yates did on measure 43. Oh, wow, he went much simpler than I did, in fact. So he just did, interesting. So he played. He did do the dissonance. Interesting. Okay. But yeah, no, I like this better with some of these chords in here. Okay. It's kind of cool looking at the differences. I think I like what I've got here. I'm gonna stick with that. I mean, because I could just use the Yates transcription if I didn't want to do my own. So, but it's really interesting too when you get in, you start doing these kind of transcriptions. And I really found this when I was doing Leyenda. Is there's a part in Leyenda where you are playing octaves, and that's how I learned it. It's in the Yates transcription, it's in the Segovia transcription, it's in every transcription of Leyenda I've ever seen, is these octaves. And then I got onto the piano part. I'm looking at the sheet music and doing exactly what I'm doing here, putting it into sheet music, transcribing onto guitar, and I found that Albéniz was doing double octaves. And I'm like, that sounds awesome. Why is no one else doing double octaves here? And so it's one of those things that, I never would have known that if I hadn't gone in and done my own transcription. So even though this particular piece kind of transcribes in a very, I think any 5 people that sat down to do this would come up with very similar ideas on guitar. So some people would put this up here, someone put it down here, but it's going to be substantially similar. And obviously, basically Yates took those notes out, so he was more like, actually he took just one of those notes out. No, that's right, he left the fret 4 here, took this note out. So again, not a wrong transcription by any means. I like what I did here, but no one's going to come up with anything terribly crazy on this if they are reasonable in doing their transcriptions. So, yeah. And I feel like this part might be repetitious here. Because I've done a bit of stuff already. I'm not going to worry about that stuff right there. I'm going to go through this here, see how this plays out on the guitar. And so this part here, this is real simple. This is just a standard E major chord. And then this is cool. He goes to this really great diminished chord. Now here, this is one I was wondering about. And so this, so as written, I don't think there would be any reasonable way to play this on a guitar, all 5 notes, because you got 4 fingers taking up these lowest 4 notes, or you got 4 fingers taking up the highest 5 notes. So should I be up high? But there's also the possibility of taking the 10 out, move the 7 down. So you have 9, 9, 8, 12. That would be a tough one. Or I could do it leave the 7 up here. I don't think that's as good of a choice. So I think possibly pulling the 7 off of this will make the most sense because it's a repeat of this, even though we did well. And then we kind of get that question: do we want to pull the 7 off of all 3 of these for the sake of consistency? It's a fine question we have there. If we play it. I think I'm just going to pull it here. I like it on those other chords. Okay, this one's got some decision making. So I'm good with this. I like these 3 measures as is. This one. This is a very funkified chord with this extra note here. So basically we've got, we're looking at an A major chord. Well, possibly the implication of an A major. In which case this would be a 7. If we leave this in place, and this is much more of an A major chord, this would be like the 7 of the A major chord, the major 7. But there's really nowhere to put all of these notes it's going to work out. We got E, C sharp, and D sharp. E, C sharp, am I playing that right? Cool chord. The sheet music back up here. I'm so terrible at doing that sometimes. I don't know if it's reasonable to put in there like that. What does this piano sound like here? Okay. So my upper voice, I think I need to rearrange some of this to get the spirit of this one correct. I think maybe dropping these an octave might put me in a better place. Okay. I think taking that E out and leaving this here, that takes care of that pretty well. This part's fine. This chord though, what kind of wonky stuff do we got going on here? If I were to do that, what does that do for me? I can do it that. That's not gonna, but that is a D note. No. D sharp. Wait, so that's the same as, oh, that's what I can do right there. Oh, okay, yeah. That I like. I totally dig that. Yeah. Good choice. Good choice, little Randy. You know what you're doing with sheet music, you guy. Okay, what's happening here? I think these need to come down an octave. Where does that put us? Okay. So that's going to be a doubled up note there. That's fine. And here, so this again with the moving down, I might do to take this out. Just not to have that note doubled up. Ooh, I don't know if I like that as much. What if I moved it down an octave? What would that do for me? That might be a reasonable solution. Okay. So now here again, we've got these octaves. And that might be better to, I think that's a good solution right there. Okie doke. Yeah. Now, like some of this won't really, this will be pretty easy to clean up. Basically, I end up making this into, nope, not that way. Turn into an eighth note. Now put it there, put this into voice 2, boom. And now we've got, that's fairly clean. And this, just pop that note out. And so yeah, I'll have to go through that stuff later on and clean up all the sheet music like that, but that's not too bad. That measure works well. Okay, what do we got here? Where are we at? Where are we at? Come on. Work with me, little sheet music. All right. So here again, maybe drop that voice to an octave. What does that do? I think kill that one because that's an octave again. I'm not convinced that I should have dropped that an octave. Of course, I'm not convinced I shouldn't have. Maybe I'll have to drop some of them and not others. Drop this down to string. That's so that's an E note. Interesting. Wait, no. That's an F. Oh, okay, that's an F sharp. So would this be better off as or? I need to fix this one before I move forward. It's real easy to get distracted doing this stuff. Super easy. Yeah, it's kind of fun too. Getting distracted and just being all over the wonky place. Let's drop that and see where that puts us. Oh, that's right. I was going to probably pull that out. I wonder if I shouldn't move those up an octave. That might actually be a better solution. Man, this one, this might be a tough one to work out. So I definitely want to keep the independence of this upper voice. I feel like that's pretty important to this whole line. And so I feel like on these also I should try to pull this up. That doesn't take me past fret 12. And even on a classical guitar, the neck meets the body at fret 12. So when we start moving past that, technique gets a little funky. But like in my transcription of Cordoba, do go all the way up here. Is that it? Something like that. But you go all the way up to fret 17. And I do have some pieces where you do actually go up to all the way to fret 19. Not very common on classical guitar to go up that high, but it does happen. So I feel like, yeah, this might be needed in this case. And I'm gonna just pull voice 2 back in and start fresh on that. Okay, that was the same, so let's drop that. So only one of those goes completely out. What happens here? Maybe there. That works with the bar. Ooh, that's getting funky. So now it's kind of this question of maintaining that bass line through this, which we're low enough here that this could be congruent to this line an octave where it is or an octave up. Let's just listen to how that feels. Yeah. Oh, this is going to be an interesting section. I do not know which way I want to go on this one. I can see this one working either way. I think it's going to require a bit of experimentation. I do think I want voice 1, the blue notes, to stay that high. I think those lost something when they were low. This is truer to the original here. And parts of this fit really well. I'm going to have to clearly make a concession on this area, because it's not going to work out. If you had, hands the size of a freight train, that'd be no problem at all, but I don't. So this note may end up just going away. That's possible. These might actually end up going here. No, probably not. This is fine. Hey, Big John, what's happening, guy? Big John on guitar is over on Kick. Someone you should definitely follow. He was watching his stream the other day, and he was putting fret dots in. I have never done inlays, but I am thinking about it. Actually, on my... Hang on. Big John might have ideas. On my Les Paul, I'm thinking about routing the existing inlays and leaving like a 1/16 of an inch around the edge, and then putting some sort of epoxy or something in there to have a black inlay. So that it'll be just the outline of the white on every one of these. I think it would look really cool. I haven't decided how I'm going to do that yet, but that's something I've been thinking about. And I was watching him do his inlays the other day. I was like, oh yeah, that's got me thinking about it again. Like, I got to do that. I got to figure out how I'm gonna set that up. But yeah, definitely follow Big John's Guitars if you are on Kick. Very cool guy. And again, thank you very much for coming in. What we're doing here today is transcribing sheet music. I am taking an original from Isaac Albani's piano piece and setting it up for classical guitar. And parts of it are working really, really well, and parts of it are really an interesting struggle. But I really enjoy doing these kind of transcriptions. They're a lot of fun. Ah, yes. That is my favorite, my absolute favorite of all of my emotes, Big John. And that's, if you're listening out there, everybody, yes, read banned books. Do it. Go look up a list of books that have been banned and read them. Because that's how you become better educated. And we need people to be willing to say, hey, here's a challenge to my idea. I think I'm going to do that. Okay, let's see how. Yeah, this. Oh man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to put that. I like I like voice 2 to be lower like that. Don't know if it's going to work. I just feel like it's not quite fitting with the way hands move. See, this has different challenges with it. And so, you get to this place, you're like, okay, well, is this going to be vibe? I have this really funky chord from the F to the, well, that's not too bad. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to start fiddling with moving individual notes to different octaves. So this one still, something's gonna have to just go in this chord. There's not gonna be a reasonable way to get this chord in here. Hey, cool, thanks Big John, thanks for stopping in. And like I said, everybody go follow Big John, he does cool stuff over there. Yeah, so that's not a bad solution there. This chord just, I don't think, what did Yates do? Okay, let's go to the, I'll measure 68 here. So like I said, I've played this, the Yates transcription of this twice. And I think it was the first night I was playing it. It was a crowd of about, it was in the Historic Everett Theater. I think I had a crowd of about 250, 300 people watching. And I flubbed it hard. And I actually stopped right in the middle and had to pick it back up. It was brutal. Okay, he really simplified a lot of this. Okay, he took a lot of notes out. See, I would like to not take as many notes out of this. I see where he went with it. So he did have. So he chose to have it here, which I can appreciate. I feel like he took out more notes than I would like to. This might be a better option. Still, certain things in it are rather funky. And I mean, I can see why he made the concessions he did. It makes a lot of sense why he made the concessions he did. Because and then there are some pieces that just don't transcribe onto some instruments. I know there's I don't even remember the title of now, this very popular suite of pieces by Albanese that a lot of people have wanted to do on guitar. It's never going to happen. It doesn't work that way. Or transcribe it for 4 guitars or a duo. I've never looked at that. Like I don't even remember what it's called right now. But it's like, yeah, that's just, you're not going to put that onto one guitar. And sometimes that's just the way it is. So yeah, these 2 measures, interesting. I feel like I'm closer here to what I would like to be seeing. And we can still like, maybe if that goes there. No, see that one, yeah, this chord is going to have some concessions. Yeah, definitely no way around that. Unless, wait, no, because that'd be on fret 6. What would happen? Moving this up an octave. Right, okay, yeah, no, because that is an octave of this. Those are octaves. And, whew. I feel like I should probably dump this one. Because that's going to give us the downward move. Okay, we're going to go with that. Interesting. See, my alarm going. I'm feeling like, so the struggle I'm currently working here is we've got this G sharp note on fret 1, and then we've got a G sharp note here. And I feel like this G sharp note matters, but it's a rep. So maybe if I kill this one, if I did this, I go. Yeah, some of the repetition in this, I'm just not digging. And that's just because I just got to close these octaves up on a guitar. Wow. Tough decision making here. This is getting closer. What? I feel like that's the one's going to end up going away, but because I've got the two A notes and then a G sharp. Wait, which makes me realize this is literally the same. Wait a minute. No, what we got? So we got a G sharp, a D, and a G sharp, and here we have an A, a G sharp, and an A. Okay, so this I should keep the upper A note, I believe. And if I could find a way to work this so that, because I want this to move up, 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 like that. Oh, just opened something. Magnifier. Hit some wrong keys there. I want to view my mixer and change a couple things around here. No, that all looks normal. Where's my... That should be coming through a little better probably. And where's this one? Turn this up a bit as well. Cool. Okay, so I think I should drop the lower note from that. Maybe I just end up dropping that. That simplifies that a lot, but man, I think you kind of got to. I feel like that is probably keeping the spirit of this a little bit better than anything I had before. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that. And then here, we got this same crazy problem child happening again. But I don't think it's also got this going on with it. Oh, that's an octave though. Okay. So here again, we end up with this note repeating either here or here, where Albani's, because of the spread on the piano, was significantly lower, and that made a big difference. So how do we handle this? Probably end up getting rid of this note. That note, probably end up dropping that, maybe that. Well, probably kill that, because so that's not a hard chord to play by any means, but we might get a little better clarity without those in that lower frequency range. Even on a guitar, that can muddy up the works a bit. I think this is not bad. Well, I might pull that as well, because I feel like we're maintaining a little better integrity of both voices by pulling some of those out. Now here, same kind of thing. Probably going to pull this. Oh, this might work better to go right here. That's a very muddy sound right there. But this, yeah, finally getting the feel of these few measures to clean these up a bit better. I think pulling that C sharp out. Again, I think we're just getting a little bit better integrity to the two voices. Yeah, probably pull this. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Got anything good? Okay, so now we're here. And I really like this line in this piece. That is a really cool little line there. It'd be even better once I can play it well. Yeah, that's great stuff. I'm a big Albani's fan. It really, kind of what happened. I mean, I've been thinking about doing some videos. I need to. I feel like I might be getting close to it. One of the videos I want to do, our series of videos, is what I learned from, and just, you know, a variety of different people that have really influenced me. And one of them will be what I learned from Isaac Albani's. because really, so when I was 12, I heard Iron Maiden for the first time. My older brother and his friend Chris came over, and Chris had Number the Beast on vinyl. And they play this thing, and we're all like looking at the album cover with this awesome art on it. And by Derek Riggs, I believe, was the artist who did the Iron Maiden covers. And it just, little 12-year-old Randy had his mind just completely cracked open by that music. The first song they played was the title track, Number the Beast, which opens up with that, really creepy voice doing the Revelations 13, well, I think it's 13:8 or 13:18, which is the verse about the number of the beast. And just freaking awesome. And it's like, this is when I realized how cool music could be. And then the next time I had that was Leyenda by Isaac Albeniz. Which again, I'm way out on my classical guitar chops, so please excuse me, but... And later it was like this, oh my God, I'm in such bad shape on classical. So playing it terribly, but that song was like, oh man, that's like as cool as Iron Maiden. And so I really became a fan of the work that Albeniz put out, and just realized that so much of his work really is on that kind of a level. It's just great stuff. So this here, okay. So do I want both of these F sharps in here? And which way should I play this? What did Yates do on Measure 73? Does anybody out there know what Yates did on Measure 73? Let's take a look at it. Oh, okay, very similar. Okay. Wait, now he actually... That's interesting. He actually added notes. So he went with a full 6-string chord, and then he subtracted notes over here. I don't think I want to go with his ideas on this one. Okay, so this definitely needs to go up to fret 9. So pulling that note out would be a grave error. If I play 7/6. This, of course, is not reasonably physically possible. You could hypothetically tap it, but I'm not going to do that. Oh, what if I went 7/9/9? So this is okay. I could do we got the C sharp note here. 7, 6, 9. This is the kind of thing where it's like, okay, which of these notes do I want to dump? Because there's not going to be a reasonable way to keep all 4 of them. Because if I move this C sharp down an octave, it would be down like fret 4 here. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Okay, so I'm thinking of the wrong note. That is an E note. This is the C sharp note. Okay. So the C sharp can go there, but then I have this E note. But I've got an E note here. I think I'm going to dump that. I'm going to dump that high E note and keep that chord there. Oh, wait. Whoa. This is held over. Okay. So that is just a held over bit of this chord. So so that's why it's important to keep your eye on the upper sheet music as well, because things could happen. Okay, so here, for my purposes, I can just dump that and turn that all into voice 1. So we're just gonna have fret note. That makes so much more sense. Okay, I can totally get behind this. Now what about this? Again, this is where I got here. Okay, drop this, and then we get and this one might just make more sense to do this, because we have it again jammed so close together, because this is really kind of keeping the spirit of that lower thing there. So then we end up with I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it. I'm going in. Boom, done. See? That's how it is. I'm just crazy like that. Would that work better? I think, well, what if I did, ooh, that could be a good way to do it. If I were to go like that, then I'd have to dump this A note.